India.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Nation observes National Unity Day, marking Sardar Patel's birth anniversary. Run for Unity held across the country. Indian Prime Minister participates in Rashtra Ekta Diwas celebrations at Kevadia in the Indian state of Gujarat. Says India is moving forward with the pledge of abandoning the mentality of slavery. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in Meri Maati Mera Desh program, marking an end to Amrit Kalash Yatra. United Nations pushes to open Kerem Shalom crossing to deliver aid to Gaza. UN officials repeatedly called for a ceasefire in Gaza. In ICC World Cup 2023, it's make or break for Pakistan as they aim to earn the lost glory in the encounter against Bangladesh. All right, let's begin with National Unity Day celebrations. President of India, Draupadi Murmu, led the nation in celebrating the National Unity Day, also known as Rashtra Ekta Diwas. She paid floral tributes to Sardar Patel at his statue in New Delhi. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Home Minister Amit Shah and Union Minister Meenakshi Lekhi also paid floral tributes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to Sardar Patel at the Statue of Unity in Gujarat on the birth anniversary of India's first Home Minister, which is also celebrated as the National Unity Day. The Statue of Unity, dedicated to Sardar Patel, was inaugurated here by Prime Minister Modi on October 31st, 2018. Prime Minister administered the oath of unity to the gathering at a function held at Ekta Nagar in Narmada district.
शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं राष्ट्र की एकता, अखंडता और सुरक्षा को बनाए रखने के लिए स्वयं को समर्पित करूंगा और अपने देशवासियों के बीच यह संदेश फैलाने का भी भरसक प्रयत्न करूंगा। मैं यह शपथ अपने देश की एकता की भावना से ले रहा हूं, जिसे सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल की दूरदर्शिता एवं कार्यों द्वारा संभव बनाया जा सका। मैं अपने देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने के लिए अपना योगदान करने का भी सत्यनिष्ठा से संकल्प करता हूं। भारत माता की।
On the birth anniversary of the Iron Man, Prime Minister Narendra Modi witnessed the National Unity Day parade, comprising of marching contingents from the Border Security Force and the State Police Force.
और अब सर्वप्रथम भारतीय पुलिस बलों के 54 ध्वजवाहकों का दस्ता परेड में सबसे अग्रसर। इस 54 ध्वजवाहकों के दस्ते की कमान संभाल रहे हैं आंध्र पुलिस के ये दस्ते। नक्सलियों का मुंह तोड़ जवाब देकर राज्य में कानून एवं शांति व्यवस्था बनाए रखने के लिए कटिबद्ध आंध्र प्रदेश। आजादी के अमृतकाल में देश अपनी नारी शक्ति को नमन कर रहा है। विश्व के सबसे बड़े अर्धसैनिक बल केंद्रीय रिजर्व पुलिस बल की 75 मोटरसाइकिल पर सवार यह 150 महिला कार्मिकों का है दल। एकता, समरसता और समावेश का पैगाम लिए ये कार्मिकाएं श्रीनगर के ऐतिहासिक लाल चौक, मेघालय, शिलोंग और त्रिवेणी संगम कन्याकुमारी से 10,000 किलोमीटर का सफर तय करके आज आपके समक्ष एकता नगर में उपस्थित है। 15 राज्यों, 2 केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों से गुजरे इस एक्सपेडिशन की महिला कार्मिक रास्ते में महिलाएं, आंगनबाड़ी कार्यकर्ताओं, एनसीसी कैडेट्स और लड़कियों से मिली। बेटी बचाओ, बेटी पढ़ाओ अभियान का संदेश।
Addressing the countrymen after attending the celebrations, Prime Minister hoped the day will further the spirit of unity and brotherhood in our society. He said the events at the Red Fort on 15th August, the parade on 26 January at Kartavya Path and the Unity Day celebrations at the Bank of Narmada have become the 3 powers of nation upliftment. He also added that Amrit Kaal of next 25 years is an opportunity to make a new prosperous India.
इस अमृत काल में भारत ने गुलामी की मानसिकता को त्याग कर आगे बढ़ने का संकल्प लिया है। हम विकास भी कर रहे हैं और अपनी विरासत का संरक्षण भी कर रहे हैं। भारत ने अपनी नौसेना के ध्वज पर लगे गुलामी के निशान को हटा दिया है। गुलामी के दौर में बनाए गए जरूरी कानूनों को भी हटाया जा रहा है। आईपीसी की जगह भी भारतीय न्याय संहिता लाई जा रही है।
Prime Minister also highlighted how expansion in tourism will help people in Ekta Nagar.
एकता नगर में इको फ्रेंडली ट्रांसपोर्ट की व्यवस्था भी की गई है। अब यहाँ पर्यटकों को ई बस, ई गोल्फ कार्ट और ई साइकिल के साथ पब्लिक बाइक शेयरिंग सिस्टम की सुविधा भी मिलेगी। पिछले 5 वर्षों में 1.5 करोड़ से ज्यादा पर्यटक यहां आ चुके हैं और ये संख्या निरंतर बढ़ती जा रही है। इसका बहुत बड़ा लाभ यहां के हमारे आदिवासी भाई बहनों को हो रहा है। उन्हें रोजगार के नए साधन मिल रहे हैं। साथियों, आज पूरा विश्व भारत के संकल्प की दृढ़ता को, भारतवासियों के पौरुष और प्रखरता को, भारतीय जनशक्ति की जिजीविषा को आदर और विश्वास से देख रहा है।
DD India correspondent Meghna Dev now joins us from Kevadia, Gujarat. Meghna, we've shown extensive coverage of the National Unity Day celebrations to our viewers, but how do we correlate the National Unity Day with Prime Minister's idea of Amrit Kaal of the next 20 years as an opportunity to make a new prosperous India? Meghna, are you there with us? Meghna, am I audible to you? All right, I think we've not been able to establish contact there with Meghna. We'll try getting back to her to get more. But continuing with the National Unity Day celebrations, as part of the celebrations, Run for Unity was organized in New Delhi. Union Minister Amit Shah flagged it off from the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. Around 7,700 people participated.
सुबुद्धि उच्च श्रृंग पर किए जगह, हृदय गंभीर है समुद्र की तरह, कदम छुए हुए जमीन की सतह, पटेल देश का निगहबान है, पटेल हिंद की निडर जबान है। आगे बढ़िए, दौड़ते रहिए, ये गतिमान भारत के प्रतीक हमारे जवान, आगे बढ़ते रहिए।
Addressing the gathering on the occasion, Amit Shah said that Sardar Patel is the reason for a unified and a united India.
आज मैं इस मौके पर सरदार पटेल जयंती के मौके पर मैं आप सभी को एकता दिन की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। पूरा देश 2014 से इस दिन को एकता दिन के रूप में मनाता है। हम सब जानते हैं, आजादी के बाद अंग्रेज इस देश को खंड खंड होने के लिए छोड़कर गए थे। उस वक्त 550 से ज्यादा रियासतों को कुछ ही दिनों में एकता के धागे में पिरोकर भारत माता का अभी का मानचित्र बनाने का काम, ये विराट काम हमारे लौह पुरुष सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने किया था।
In Sri Lanka, Indian High Commissioner administered the National Unity Day pledge to remember the contribution of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Gopal Bagle also paid floral tributes to the first Home Minister of India by offering flowers at Sardar Patel's image. All officers and officials in the Indian mission, as well as other diplomatic offices in Jaffna, Kandy and Hambantota, pledged towards national unity. Moving on, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday is all scheduled to participate in the culmination program of Meri Maati Mera Desh campaign's Amrit Kalash Yatra at Kartavya Path. People from all over India have reached the national capital to participate in the final event of Meri Maati Mera Desh. For the event, soil has been collected from every corner of the country in Amrit Kalash, and it will be made into an Amrit Vatika near Kartavya Path as a symbol of unity and integrity of entire country. As the part of the program, Prime Minister will also launch the Mera Yuva Bharat, a platform designed to empower and serve the youth of India as one-stop whole-of-government platform. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition after the break. Israel targets Hezbollah infrastructure in Lebanon in response to Hezbollah exchanging fire with Israeli forces across the border. Japan imposes a fresh set of sanctions, freezing the assets of individuals and a company related to Hamas. Senate Appropriations Committee to review President Biden's $106 billion budget request for military aid to Ukraine and Israel.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution.
This series is going to tell stories of such changemakers.
Watch Changemakers on DD India.
Welcome to a happy place. To nature's warm embrace. Witness the power of faith. Fruits of hard work and protectors of Mother Earth. unique in every way. Discover something new every day. A small state with big ambitions and a bigger heart. Mizoram welcomes to love, laughter and celebrations.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti Kaur. Let's continue getting you more updates and we'll get inputs from our reporter who is joining us from Delhi, getting us more on Meri Maati Mera Desh campaign. Dibendu is joining us from Delhi. Dibendu, it is a very important event today. Soil from close to 28,000 villages has been brought to Delhi. Now we will see Prime Minister's participation as well. Get us the details of how the program is planned today.
Well, Preeti, that's right. We are at the Kartavya Path, and right behind me is the Kalash that you were talking about, which has been brought from across India, from across all the states and union territories spread across the country. Thousands of people have already come in here, and they are eagerly waiting for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to come here and address them on this important day, which is the Day of Unity, where the Prime Minister aims to bring the entire nation together, and that is what has been witnessed here at Kartavya Path. Throughout the day today, there have been programs that have been planned and are currently going on here at Kartavya Path. There are singers from across different states that are coming here and performing some patriotic songs to bind the nation and the people that have come here with one thread, that is the thread of India or the thread of Bharat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving here at 5 p.m., after which he will be inaugurating and in fact laying the foundation stone for the Amrit Vikas Udyan, which is the Amrit garden here at India Gate near the Kartavya Path. He will also be inaugurating a portal called My Youth Bharat portal, which will be giving information to all the youth about the policies of the government through this portal. The Prime Minister will also be speaking to all the people on this special occasion of unity. There will also be a pledge which will be taken by all the participants and people that have gathered here from across the country. The pledge to make India a Viksit Bharat, that is the most developed country by 2047. The pledge will be taken here. There is a huge urn, which is a kalash that has been kept here, where people that have been bringing this soil or the mitti from across their villages, from across the country, are pouring in their mitti, through which this garden or this Amrit Vikas Udyan will be built here in New Delhi.
Yes, Dibendu, also the visuals which we are showing to our viewers on our channel show the youth of the country participating in this campaign with the kalash of soil in their hands. Now, we know that this is in fact a very important and a very ambitious vision of the Prime Minister of a prosperous India that will be achieved throughout the Amrit Kal period. Now, how do such programs engage youth who are the biggest strength of the nation?
Well, that's right, Preeti. You can see the sheer amount of people, that is mostly youths. I've been here for the last 1 hour and I've been talking to people. The enthusiasm amongst the people here clearly says that yes, India and the youth of India is ready to build a developed Viksit Bharat or a developed India by 2047. And in the crowd, we'll be sending those visuals in a while. In the crowd, you will see that the youths, it's mostly the youth, men, women from across country have gathered here to take this pledge to make India one of the most developed nations by 2047. So the enthusiasm amongst the youth are clearly visible here at Kartavya Path in New Delhi, Preeti.
All right, Dibendu, we leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. And let's get you international updates now. Israel on Tuesday held airstrikes over Hezbollah's infrastructure in Lebanon. Releasing a footage of airstrikes, Israeli army said that its fighter jets struck Hezbollah terror infrastructure in Lebanon including weapons, posts and sites used by Hezbollah. Lebanon's Hezbollah has been exchanging fire with Israeli forces across the border since Hamas in Gaza and Israel went to war. Meanwhile, Hamas militants claimed that they fired anti-tank missiles at Israel's invading forces. The Al-Qassam Brigade, Hamas's armed wing, said that its militants clashed with Israeli forces invading the southern Gaza axis on early Tuesday. Now, the militants targeted 4 vehicles with Al-Yassin 105 missiles. On Monday, Hamas released a video of the hostages. Efforts to secure additional releases through back-channel efforts coordinated by Qatar appear to have been put on hold following the start of the ground operation. DD India special correspondent Amritpal Singh is covering from Ground Zero, and he has reported on Monday night about the 4 hostages that have been released so far.
Well, that's right. The military campaign has intensified with the northern front with Syria and Hezbollah also. On the hostages issue, yes, a Israeli-German woman by the name Shani Lauk, a 23-year-old lady, her remains were found mutilated, her skull bones, etc. Her family has been announced. In fact, the German Chancellor has said that he's shocked by it, and that reveals the kind of barbarism Hamas is capable of. Also, Hamas released a video of 3 hostages, Israeli women, sitting next to each other against a bare wall, giving an angry message to Benjamin Netanyahu to get them released by going in for a prisoner swap. Though Benjamin Netanyahu slammed it, and he said, this was part of psychological warfare by Hamas and they wouldn't succeed. And his government is making all efforts to get the prisoners released. But the fact remains that it's been, the number has gone up. Israel has revised the number to 229. Only 4 prisoners have been, or hostages have been released so far, 2 Israeli, 2 American. After that, no more have been released. It is now 25 days since they are in captivity. What we hear is that the negotiations with Qatar that are on, Hamas is asking for 1 release or swap of prisoners, that Israel release all its prisoners. There are about 6,600 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. And second, it is pressing for Israel to allow fuel inside the Gaza Strip. Now, Israel hasn't responded to that officially. So, it is sort of those negotiations, tough negotiations are on, but it looks like it will take some time before they are returned. But the only good thing is that the Hamas hasn't executed many of them, though they say 50 were killed, hostages were killed in Israeli strikes. So there's a lot of information and warfare going on, so we can't vouch for the veracity of it. But yes, the very fact that they haven't killed them means that they're using them as bargaining chips in this war.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected calls for a ceasefire in Gaza, saying it would amount to a surrender to Hamas and also surrender to terrorists. Speaking in Tel Aviv, Netanyahu said that their ground campaign in Gaza created the possibility for the release of more than 200 hostages being held by terrorist group Hamas.
Our common assessment of all of the, not only the cabinet members, but also all the security forces and the military, is that the ground action actually creates the possibility, not the certainty, but the possibility of getting our hostages out, because Hamas will not do it unless they're under pressure. Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism, to surrender to barbarism. That will not happen.
United Nations workers have repeated the calls for a ceasefire in Gaza. Addressing the UN Security Council, officials warned of the humanitarian crisis unraveling in the Middle East. Now, this comes as authorities in Gaza say that more than 8,000 have died in the past 3 weeks. But Israel and its allies argue that a ceasefire will only benefit the Hamas. DD India's Sally Patterson reports from New York, where the United Nations is headquartered.
On Monday, Security Council members were briefed by UN experts on the situation on the ground. They warned Gazans are living in, quote, appalling, unsanitary conditions with limited food and water. Many, they say, are sleeping on the floor without mattresses or outside in the open. More than 1 million people in Gaza have been displaced in the past 3 weeks of fighting. And now UN officials warn hunger and despair are turning into anger against the international community. Over the weekend, people broke into warehouses run by the United Nations and took flour and other basics. The UN says it's a sign civil order is starting to break down. Executive Director of UNICEF, Catherine Russell, spoke about the devastating impact the violence is having on children, specifically in the region. She said children in both Israel and Gaza are experiencing terrible trauma. The consequences, she said, of which could last a lifetime. Violence and upheaval, she went on, can induce toxic stress in children that actually interferes with their physical and cognitive development. Now, more than 60 UN workers are believed to have died since fighting began, with many continuing to work day in, day out to get aid to those who need it most. Sally Patterson in New York, reporting for DD India.
The United Nations is urging for the opening of the Kerem Shalom crossing to provide aid to the besieged Gaza Strip. The UN states that multiple border crossings are necessary and Kerem Shalom, controlled by Israel, is the only suitable one. Aid has been trickling into Gaza from Egypt via the Rafah crossing, while Israel's UN ambassador, Gilad Erdan, donned a yellow star as a symbol of condemnation against Hamas, criticizing the Security Council for its silence on the recent attacks. The UN General Assembly recently adopted a non-binding resolution for an immediate humanitarian truce.
Some of you have forgotten why this body was established. So I will remind you, from this day on, each time you look at me, you will remember what staying silent in the face of evil means. Just like my grandparents and the grandparents of millions of Jews, from now on, my team and I will wear yellow stars. We will wear this star until you condemn the atrocities of Hamas and demand the immediate release of our hostages.
Japan has imposed a fresh set of sanctions on individuals and a company related to Hamas. The sanctions consist of freezing the assets of individuals and a company that have helped fund Hamas. Also, individuals including Hamas operatives Mohammed Ahmed Abd al-Daim Nasrallah and Ayman Nofal were newly added to the list of people and organizations deemed as terrorists by Japan. It is the first set of sanctions imposed on Hamas by Japan since the terror group launched an attack on Israel on October 7th. Up next, a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Pakistan directs undocumented Afghans to leave the country. Aimed at addressing concerns about artificial intelligence manipulation and harm, a global summit to be held in the United Kingdom. Haiti halts flights to Nicaragua, putting a temporary end to a key route for Haitian migrants seeking to reach the U.S.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution.
This series is going to tell stories of such change makers.
Watch Change Makers on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti. A quick relook at the top stories once again. Nation observes National Unity Day, marking Sardar Patel's birth anniversary. Run for Unity held across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to participate in Meri Maati Mera Desh program, marking an end to Amrit Kalash Yatra. Argentina star striker Lionel Messi shines again, wins the Best Player Award, Ballon d'Or 2023 for record extending age time. On the birth anniversary of the Iron Man, Sardar Patel, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi witnessed the National Unity Day parade. Contingents from the Border Security Force and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, National Cadet Corps and Women's State Police Force marched on the occasion. During his address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also highlighted the successful G20 summits under India's presidency and also how India is reaching new heights.
आज पूरी दुनिया भारत को देख रही है। आज भारत उपलब्धियों के नए शिखर पर है। G20 में भारत के सामर्थ्य को देखकर दुनिया हैरान हो गई है। हमें गर्व है कि हम विश्व के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र की साख को नई ऊंचाई पर ले जा रहे हैं।
On behalf of the countrymen, Prime Minister expressed his pride as India will soon be the third largest economy in the world. He also highlighted India's successful Chandrayaan-3 mission and Make in India initiative in defense sector.
हमें गर्व है कि अगले कुछ वर्षों में हम दुनिया की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी आर्थिक शक्ति बनने जा रहे हैं। हमें गर्व है कि आज भारत चांद पर वहां पहुंचा है जहां दुनिया का कोई देश नहीं पहुंच पाया। हमें गर्व है कि आज भारत तेजस फाइटर प्लेन से लेकर INS विक्रांत तक खुद बना रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi also asserted that people should act more responsible towards internal security of the nation.
प्रत्येक भारतवासी के लिए ये समय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। किसी को भी ऐसा कोई काम नहीं करना है जिससे देश की स्थिरता पर आंच आए। हमारे कदम भटकने से हम लक्ष्य से भी भटक जाएंगे। जिस परिश्रम से 140 करोड़ भारतीय देश को विकास के पथ पर लेकर आए हैं, वो कभी भी व्यर्थ नहीं होना चाहिए। देश के पहले गृह मंत्री होने के नाते सरदार पटेल देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को लेकर बहुत सख्त रहते थे। लोह पुरुष थे ना। पिछले 9 वर्षों से देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा को कई मोर्चों से चुनौती मिलती रही है, लेकिन हमारे सुरक्षा बलों की दिन रात की मेहनत भी और उसकी वजह से देश के दुश्मन अपने मंसूबों में पहले की तरह कामयाब नहीं हो पा रहे हैं।
And up next, we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines. Various functions were organized all across the country on the occasion of Sardar Patel's birth anniversary, celebrated as Ekta Diwas. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participated in Run of Unity in the largest state of Uttar Pradesh and flagged off the program. The Indian Air Force has retired one of its 3 remaining squadrons of the aging MiG-21 fighters. These fighters will gradually be replaced by the indigenous light combat aircraft Mk-1A aircraft. The MiG-21 Bison fighter aircraft performed its final flight over the Uttarlai town in Barmer, Rajasthan, signalling the end of an era. The Supreme Court asks Delhi, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Rajasthan to file affidavits on the steps taken by the states to control air pollution. A 3-judge bench also said that crop burning is one of the main reasons for air pollution in Delhi. The top court had earlier sought a report from Commission for Air Quality Management on the steps being taken to control air pollution in and around Delhi. On the last day of the deadline for the Afghan migrants to leave Pakistan, about 1.7 million undocumented migrants are set to head to their country. More than 10,000 Afghan migrants reached the border. Many people were seen in lines, hoisting their luggage on top of buses to return to their home nation. Pakistan on October 4th announced that it would expel undocumented migrants that do not leave the country, after which 60,000 Afghans have already returned to their nation between 23rd of September to October 22nd. The move came in after the government said that Afghans are involved in suicide bombings in Pakistan. Haiti has blocked all flights from its capital to South America to end the key route for migrants seeking to reach the United States. As the government made no public announcement about the flights, thousands of travelers were stranded in a parking lot of Haiti's main international airport, surrounded by their luggage. The flights were a source for the migrants fleeing poverty and violence and had been increasingly used in their quest to reach the United States. A large migrant caravan from Central Americans and Venezuelans left southern Mexico on Monday for the United States as Washington grapples with renewed pressure on its southern border. Around 3,500 people set off on foot from the city of Tapachula near the Guatemalan border. The migrants opted to leave Tapachula due to frustration about not being able to obtain humanitarian visas. Many migrants are fleeing poverty and political instability and their homelands, and this year has seen record numbers crossing the Darien Gap region connecting Panama and Colombia. On Tuesday, the U.S. Defense Secretary and Secretary of State will present their argument to the lawmakers, seeking approval for President Biden's $106 billion budget request for military aid to Ukraine and Israel. However, some Republicans may express concerns about the plan's size, according to the reports by DD India's Kate Fisher.
US President Joe Biden pressed Congress for the combined aid in a prime-time address last week, proposing $61 billion in lethal assistance to Ukraine and around $14 billion for air and missile defences in Israel, which has a better equipped military. The push underscores the growing Republican resistance to linking assistance for both nations. In the House, the newly elected Republican Speaker, Mike Johnson, said that he plans to move a standalone Israel funding bill to the floor this week, separating it from Ukraine aid. The White House spending plan also designates a lesser sum for Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific region, $7.4 billion, which includes funds for the Navy to produce nuclear-powered submarines under the defence sharing agreement with Australia and Britain, known as AUKUS. The White House has said it has less than $5.5 billion in funds to continue transferring weapons from US stockpiles to Ukrainian forces fighting Russia. Kate Fisher in Washington reporting for DD India.
The US Federal Reserve is expecting to leave interest rates on pause at its latest monetary policy meeting that gets underway later today. But Fed Chair Jerome Powell has warned more rate hikes will be needed in the coming months to get inflation under control. DD India's Nick Harper gets us details from Washington.
Well, since the start of last year, the US central bank has raised interest rates 11 times. That's an aggressive pace, the likes of which has not been seen since the early 1980s. And those steady increases have all been aimed at trying to bring down inflation. But according to the Fed's preferred indicator, inflation remains at around 3.7%. That's still stubbornly above the Fed's target of 2% maximum, which is why Fed Chair Jerome Powell has suggested there will be more rate hikes to come. Even so, traders don't anticipate a rate rise from this two-day meeting, meaning we could see another hike from the final meeting of this year in mid-December, although traders currently believe there's only a 20% chance of that happening. Consumer spending, though, remains robust, and data out in the past week showed a very strong result for third-quarter GDP. The US economy growing by 4.9% in the 3 months from July to September. A stronger economy might push the Federal Reserve to keep rates higher for longer to try and tamp down inflation. The Fed will announce its decision whether to raise rates or keep them on pause on Wednesday afternoon. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
A global summit in the UK this week will discuss how to ensure artificial intelligence doesn't pose a threat to human life. Industry representatives and world leaders will explore how to prevent the existing AI from causing harm and how to safeguard against future risks.
Artificial intelligence is an abstract idea, but it's already here, making art, making money, and making some people nervous.
As machine gestures into something.
These pieces were created with a combination of human artistry and artificial intelligence. The brainwaves of artist and researcher Su-Gwen Chung were translated by computer chip based on analysis of the artist's previous work and interpreted into strokes on the canvas. The exhibition is challenging people to think about how this makes them feel and how humanity's relationship with artificial intelligences might develop.
I've been entertaining the idea that it's a way for fear and hope for technology and creativity to be held in the mind at the same time.
The magic of this work is these machines are creating something brand new from no set of predefined rules. But outside of art, for policymakers, that's exactly the concern. Images can be created that never existed before.
All those edits were created by AI in just minutes, simply by typing in what I wanted to happen. In this case, it's doing no harm, and its potential positive benefits are huge. But one of the concerns this summit will be addressing is what bad actors can do with low-cost, powerful tools, from convincingly manipulating video to massively speeding up the design of a bioweapon.
This is a technology that is expanding on such an exponential scale that it is almost understandable that our decision makers are lagging behind. But what we need right now is legislation, right? We need to understand how we can resolve some of the ethical dilemmas that are causing harm in the AI world already.
There's no suggestion at this summit that governments are looking to establish a new international regulatory body, but it isn't being ruled out. What is being addressed is how to develop a shared understanding of the risks posed by frontier AI and the need for action, and to work out how best to collaborate internationally on AI safety research. What we see as artificial intelligence now is not the rapidly emerging potential threat we could face. Stuart Smith in London, reporting for DD India.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai appeared at the US District Court in Washington to defend his company against allegations that it broke antitrust law. Google raised concerns to Apple about Safari browser's lucrative queries to Amazon, leading to the US government pursuing a case over potential illegal actions. He also acknowledged that Google's decision to make its search engine the default on laptops and smartphones is a key point in a U.S. antitrust fight focusing on billions of dollars spent. Bolivian firefighters and volunteers battled fires in the forest near Madidi National Park, a protected area in northwestern Bolivia that includes a portion of the Bolivian Amazon. 16 active forest fires are burning in 4 departments of Bolivia, with the La Paz region being the most severely affected.
The fire is approaching the Madidi National Park. It is worrying. The most important thing for us is to preserve the water sources. The fire has started near our water sources, which feed our people.
And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. The 5 remaining co-stars of the hit television sitcom Friends paid tribute to their fallen castmate, Matthew Perry. The cast spoke out publicly for the first time since the news broke out on Saturday. The stars took a moment to grieve and process the unfathomable loss.
Murder mysteries, and it was fun. It was sort of like I love an old throwback.
In a historic first, the heart of Dubai witnessed a magnificent Ram Leela performance, captivating the Indian community living in the emirate and adding a vibrant cultural touch to the city's diverse landscape. All the artists are Indian expatriates residing and working in the UAE, hailing from various professional backgrounds. U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden hosted Halloween at the White House on Monday. The Bidens handed out books and candy to trick-or-treaters, as this year the focus is on books, with the White House calling it a Hallow Read celebration. The White House was adorned with trees, pumpkins and flower bouquets for the event. At the Whipsnade Zoo in England, lionesses Waka and Winta are among the animals enjoying Halloween treats on Monday. The Whipsnade Zoo is UK's largest conservation zoo, home to 245 species, many of which are under the threat of extinction. The animals tucked out into the seasonal treats with much excitement. Scientists have successfully extracted and sequenced RNA molecules from a specimen of an extinct Tasmanian tiger. The sample of the Tasmanian tiger has been stored at room temperature in the Swedish Museum for Natural History since 1891. Up next, a short break, but on the other side of the break, South Africa declares December 15th a holiday to celebrate the country's Rugby World Cup win. It's raining talent at the 37th National Games. Participants continue showing splendid performance through various sports. Former Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales banned for 3 years over the kiss scandal.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution.
This series is going to tell stories of such change makers.
Watch Change Makers on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti Kaur. And up next, we'll get you updates now from the world of sports. And for that, my colleague Deepika is joining in. Deepika, good afternoon. When we talk of the biggest news for the day in terms of sports, then it is definitely Pakistan versus Bangladesh. And It's a break or make for Pakistan as it will look to earn back the lost glory.
And not only this, we have the biggest update on Messi as well. A delightful one for the Messi fans as Argentina's captain Lionel Messi won a record-extending 8th Ballon d'Or, pipping Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. while Spain's World Cup champion Aitana Bonmati bagged the women's accolade. Now the 36-year-old has 3 more awards than rival Cristiano Ronaldo, who won the last of his 5 trophies back in the year 2017. Here's a report. Argentina's captain Lionel Messi continues to dominate the soccer world with his awe-inspiring performances. He has claimed his record-extending 8th Ballon d'Or at a glamorous ceremony that took place in Paris. He edged out Norway's Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, while Spain's World Cup champion Aitana Bonmati bagged the women's accolade. Messi, who plays for Inter Miami, last won the award back in the year 2021. Last year, he played a crucial role in guiding Argentina to their first World Cup title in 36 years. They trounced defending champions France in the final. During the tournament, he netted 7 goals and earned the title of the tournament's standout player. The 36-year-old has 3 more coveted trophies than his rival Cristiano Ronaldo, who won the last of his 5 trophies in 2017. Messi has now finished among the top 3, a record 14 times in total, finishing runners-up on 5 occasions. While Messi's World Cup winning teammate Emiliano Martinez won the Lev Yashin Award for the world's best goalkeeper. The Copa Trophy for the best under-21 player went to Real Madrid and England midfielder Jude Bellingham, while club teammate Vinicius Jr. was awarded the Socrates Award for his humanitarian work off the pitch. The crowning achievement stands as a pinnacle in Messi's illustrious career as he continued to enthrall the fans with his scintillating performance. His return to the French capital marked a mushy moment for Messi. He had departed from Paris Saint-Germain in June and subsequently joined Inter Miami in Major League Soccer. Sports Desk, DD India. Now in ICC Cricket World Cup, Pakistan will look forward to resurrect their faltering campaign as they take on Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata today. Bangladesh has suffered early setback as they've lost 3 wickets for just 27 runs in 7 overs itself. Bangladesh earlier won the toss and elected to bat first. They have included Tawheed Hridoye in playing 11, replacing Mahidi Hassan. While Pakistan made 3 changes, bringing in Fakhar Zaman, Agha Salman and Usma Mir in place of Imamul Haq, Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz. Now winning the remaining 3 games is of utmost necessity for Team Pakistan here to stand any outside chance of qualifying for the semi-finals. On the other hand, for Bangladesh, their campaign went from bad to worse, with the Netherlands comprehensively beating them by 87 runs at the same venue. Until the last reports came in, Bangladesh were at 37 for a loss of 3 wickets. And now let's talk about the Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka clash of the ICC Cricket World Cup. Afghanistan defeated Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in Pune on Monday to record their 3rd victory of the World Cup and also maintain their hopes of a semi-final place. Now a set of 242 to win after a disciplined bowling display. Afghanistan finished on 242 for a loss of 3 wickets, with Azmatullah Omarzai unbeaten on 73 and captain Hashamutullah Shahidi 58 not out, the pair sharing an unbroken stand of 111. Now Afghanistan have 6 points and they sit at the 5th position at the points table, which is 2 behind New Zealand and Australia, with the top 4 guaranteed to make the semi-finals at the ongoing edition. Moving on, Luis Rubiales, the former president of the Spanish Football Association, has been banned from all football-related activities for 3 years by FIFA's disciplinary committee. The Zurich-based World Football governing body did not publish the details of the verdict reached by its disciplinary committee that had investigated charges relating to basic rules of decent conduct and also behaving in a way that brings the sport of football and FIFA into disrepute. The former Spanish football chief can request the verdict within 10 days and then file an appeal to FIFA as well. Now it's time to get you all the latest from the ongoing 37th edition of the National Games.
In men's team event, Haryana's Karan Singh is playing Tamil Nadu's Manish Suresh Kumar. Till the last reports came in, both the players had won a set each in tennis. While Karan took the opening set by 6-4, Manish took the second set by 6-2. So as Goa successfully hosts the national games, DD India correspondent Suchitra Bharadwaj caught up with Goa Sports Secretary Swetika Sachin, who said that it was a moment of joy for the people when the state was selected to host the prestigious game. Let's take a listen.
What were your expectations when Goa got the hosting rights and the dates were decided for 2023?
So we were looking forward to hosting the games since a long time now. And finally, 37 national games were awarded by the IOA to Goa, and it was a moment of rejoice for all. However, that being said, this is a very, very big, exercise. We are hosting about 43 games. If you bifurcate them, about 49 games and spread over around 30 plus venues. So it has been a very fulfilling and both a challenging task for the NGOC.
If you look at the magnitude, hosting the games in 5 cities and, as you said, 30 plus venues, what was the biggest challenge for the NGOC?
So basically, Goa is a small state. We do have state-of-the-art sports infrastructure, including sports complexes and stadiums. That being said, to fit 43 games over a period of 14 days was a very, very challenging task, and that is why we had decided to stagger the games and spread over about 20 days, badminton being the first. So that was one of the challenges as to how many games we can accommodate in our limited number of venues, and finding and finalizing and kind of sprucing up the venues to be games ready.
Goa is known for its tourism, for its water bodies. What other dimensions you want to add to Goa's image by these games?
So rightly said, it's called the place with the sun, sand and sea. We wanted to change this thought process, and lately Goa has been coming up as a a conferencing, marriage MICE destination as well. To add on to it, Goa has always been a state with people loving football and producing great football players, and some various other sports youngsters are doing, like sailing and other water sports.
So how do you want to utilize these facilities, this infrastructure in future after the games are over?
Legacy plan is extremely important. Number one, to make sure that the venues are maintained in their present state, because a lot of precious government money has gone into. And secondly, how do we utilize and how do we enroll sports associations, sports training institutions and CSR through various industries that are into sports related CSR activities to create that synergetic ecosystem where these infrastructure is used by sports persons and by other institutions.
So Secretary Sports Goa is hopeful that after successfully hosting the national games, Goa will get to host some more international sports events in the near future. With camera person Sumit Dhiman, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India from Goa.
Now, after South Africa won a Rugby World Cup on Sunday, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Monday said he's declaring December the 15th as a public holiday to celebrate the country's Rugby World Cup victory. The Springboks claimed a record 4th Rugby World Cup on Saturday with a 12-11 victory over foes New Zealand. So that was a quick wrap from the world of sports. Back to Preeti.
All right, thank you, Deepika. And I must say, December 15th, the country will be celebrating the rugby win. What a beautiful way to honor the athletes and also to celebrate the win, isn't it?
Indeed.
All right, we'll end it here. And with that, we end this edition of DD India News Hour as well. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off. And from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.